The criteria for celebrityhood has been different for different ages. Sometimes they were warriors, sometimes they were musicians, sometimes storytellers, scientists, film stars, etc. Similarly, in the 1st century Guramala city, those in demand were the philosophers. People of that city, especially the women, found wisdom to be very sexy. Still, for many decades since the advent of philosophical thought, the philosophers didn't gain that kind of attention. That's because there was one key ingredient missing: good looks. Initially, these philosophers were mostly men in their 50s and 60s. Reaching that age, they didn't really care about personal grooming. Things changed after the arrival of a philosopher named Bergson. A wise traveler from the northern mountain sought shelter for some time in Guramala city. He was a handsome, muscular man with thick black beard. Despite having the body of a warrior, he spoke of philosophy, beauty, love, and peace. This was a lethal combination as all women of the city fell for him, even the married ones. The difference between the living and the dead is that the dead feel no love, spoke Bergson during the philosophical meet. True pursuit of happiness is to seek love, give love. Let this be a common practice among people, that the magical words he or she utters are, "I love you." Hearing him say this, entire crowd erupted in a thunderous applause one morning during the weekly philosophy meet. No other philosopher got this kind of attention. Had the other philosophers of the time craved for attention, they would be very jealous of Bergson. An outsider who overstayed his welcome and suddenly became the most sought out philosopher of the city. And his philosophies weren't that great either. Still, he was very popular. After his session was over, all the people there stood in a queue to greet Bergson in the weirdest way. The men and women who adored him greeted with a handshake and stroking his thick black beard. This was equivalent to taking an autograph or a selfie with a popular person. Bergson was okay with that, as no other man had this beautiful beard as his. He took great pride in his handsomely maintained beard, which was at least a decade-long work. That afternoon, Bergson was walking along the Mala River while having some interesting conversation with a young, attractive woman. That's when a bunch of clean-shaven guys approached him. Seeing them, the woman parted ways with Bergson as he continued along his path. "Hello, Bergson. I admire your wisdom a lot," said a guy, shaking his hand with him.
All of us do,
added the other three.
"We have a small request, if you don't mind,"
said the first guy. Agreeing to it, Bergson let him continue.
"My girlfriend loves you and your wisdom. Say, can you share some of your unspoken wisdom so that I can impress my woman with it?"
Bergson took a pause hearing this request. It was not like he maintained a book with all his wisdom to share it at will. "This is not how it works," he tried to justify. "Usually these thoughts come to me during conversations. I can't really tell you just like that." This annoyed the other guys. They felt that Bergson was deliberately not sharing his wisdom.
"Okay, tell us this," said a guy. "Why do women love to stroke your beard? What's so special in that?"
"A well-groomed man who takes good care of his fitness and hygiene is always very appealing," Bergson replied. It was a valid answer, yet the guys weren't convinced. Their eyes were locked on to his thick black beard out of jealousy, while they stroked their bald chins to think, This led to an argument as they desperately wanted to know his secret. Eventually, Bergson lost his patience and spoke. I guess you guys are just not worthy of that kind of attention. Women love to stroke my beard. That's a fact. So deal with it. Annoyed, Bergson walked away as he reunited with the female friend. This made them very angry and drove them to conspire against Bergson. The next morning began with a loud scream from Bergson's house. Something terrible had happened during the night. When Bergson woke up in his bed, suddenly he realized that his beard is gone. His face that once held thick black beard is now clean and smooth. He looks around but can't find his hair. This is a traumatic incident, but soon Bergson is able to calm himself down, saying, Don't worry, with or without beard, you are still you. Having said that, he steps out of his house. Little does he know how serious this issue is. The people of the street refuse to recognize him. Even when Bergson himself calls them, they refuse to respond as if some creepy stranger is calling them. Even when he introduces himself saying, I am Bergson, nobody believes him. All of a sudden, the once chick magnet now is repelling women. This should not have been much of a problem to a wise philosopher like him. But by this point, he is accustomed to a certain level of attention. So when people walk past without recognizing him, it hits him hard. In the following days, Bergson loses his confidence. Even when he stands to speak during the philosophy meet, he doesn't get the kind of response he used to. This affects his thought process. He is unable to come up with those philosophical thoughts that easily. Losing his beard was equivalent to losing his identity. This makes him go crazy. Bergson is last spotted sprinting out of the city in torn clothes while laughing. Since then, nobody ever sees him again. The once popular celebrity of Guramala city meets with a tragic end. Perhaps the wisdom Bergson lacked is to understand a simple thought, that beauty is a curse. That's the end of the story. In addition to what happened with Bergson and what we understand about beauty from this story, there is one more effect, a long-lasting effect that happens to the Guramala city and the mindset of people due to this story. That effect is what is compiled in form of a theory called Beard Theory of Sciences. Thank you. End. Please like and subscribe to this channel and comment your thoughts about this story. Also, if you like my storytelling style, then you can hire my services via Fiverr or support this channel via Patreon. Please stay subscribed because soon I'll come with another story. Till then, thank you.